Welcome back to another episode of Basement Couch Contemplations. This time around, I wanted to talk a little bit about the game within the game that is trophy hunting on PlayStation. I'll be exploring a little bit of the beginnings of PlayStation trophies and how the system has evolved across different consoles. I'll also be talking about why I enjoy trophy hunting and how it enhances my gaming experience, as well as some of the ways in which it may be unappealing to some, understandably so, and also about the hopes I have for trophy hunting in the future.
Hey, that was my best time.
Where the trophy system all began was back in 2008 when a game on the PlayStation 3 called Super Stardust HD patched in 3 tiers of trophies: bronze, silver, and gold. Later, a game called Pixel Junk Eden launched with its trophies, and Uncharted Drake's Fortune launched with the first ever 4th tier trophy called the Platinum. This trophy could only be obtained after you have achieved all other trophies within the game. At first, trophies were an optional thing that developers could add to their game, but in 2009, Sony made it mandatory that trophies be implemented into their games. After this new rule was implemented, hundreds of thousands of trophies can be earned across all the PlayStation consoles. Along with the various tiers of trophies that you could earn, there were other aspects that made them a bit more prestigious, such as their rarity. Some trophies could be considered common, all the way to ultra rare, which was dependent on how many players had earned that trophy, signaling the difficulty or time commitment that is required to achieve them. On top of that, there was a trophy leveling system, where each tier of trophy gave you an amount of experience points towards increasing your trophy level. By creating this system, Sony made a social meta game that spans across your entire video game library, encouraging people to be competitive and to seek more completionist goals within their games, and driving them to achieve some goals they never thought they would. Now, the way I've been talking about it makes it sound like it's purely for bragging rights, that anyone would have interest in achieving any of these. Earning any trophies would be purely for a badge of honor that they can flaunt to their friends and others. But it's a lot more than that. I think people could get caught up in the competitive nature of it, or they can engage with the more exploratory aspects of it. If you're someone like me, I really enjoy completionist playthroughs of games. I'm not the kind of person who has to have 100% on every game I play, but if a game really piques my interest, I want to experience all that it has to offer. And this system, in a way, creates that opportunity. It creates goals for you to seek out that otherwise the game may not guide you towards. After its inception on the PlayStation 3, the trophy system has continued to flourish and grow, and Sony has developed new features that add some much needed quality of life aspects for trophy hunters. On the PS3, the trophy system wasn't the most intuitive. Things like long times syncing your trophy list and other times where you're stuck trying to get out of your list while it's loading could be very frustrating and ruin the experience that should be fast and fluid. Sometimes even earning a trophy on the PS3 could be nerve-wracking, as there's a large delay between when you've actually achieved the trophy and when it actually shows you that you've earned it. A bunch of much-needed features to the PlayStation trophy system were added on the PlayStation 4, namely the option to, while you're in-game, enter the quick menu. This option allowed for quick access to the trophies that are most relevant for the game you're playing, which saved a lot of time not having to worry about syncing your entire trophy list. And even that aspect was alleviated quite a bit on the PlayStation 4. That and an almost instantaneous reaction to trophy earning in-game were huge improvements for quality of life aspects of trophy hunting. The biggest leap in improvements for the system was in the jump to the PlayStation 5. It's really awesome to see that Sony was still dedicated enough that they added these new features to the console, really knowing that it would draw in players who are interested in trophy hunting. Some of those features were, once again, a quick menu where you could view currently earned trophies or trophies that still needed to be earned, but you could even break down the list further by sorting by rarity, earn date, and the grade of the trophy. You could even set certain trophies to be tracked using the pinning system. Sadly, only limited to 5, but it's better than nothing. They also created it so that you can put those pinned trophies into a picture-in-picture mode, so you can see it lined up on the side of your gameplay while you're playing the game, knowing the live status of your trophy progression. Even some games, if it's a collectible-based trophy, it'll show you your progress towards completing that trophy. Once again, the trophies notify you instantly, and this time, it truly is instantaneous, as the PlayStation 5 processes things so much faster. There are still some instances where trophies are bugged, and that's not alleviated by just having a PlayStation 5. And another fun little feature is that you can even have the footage just before you earned your trophy recorded, saved as a clip or a picture. For most, I'm sure these features seem so minuscule and ridiculous, but to someone who's truly into trophy hunting, these are large improvements. And I think there are still a ton more things that could be added that would improve the experience. Specifically, one thing that comes to mind would be trophy searching. The ability to actually search within your library on the console, certain trophies that you've earned from certain games that maybe you want to share with others. That would be a great way to create more social engagement with the trophy system. But for now, it looks like that's going to have to still be something that others have created tools for, such as the PlayStation Trophies website and PSN profiles. Another significant change was the PlayStation leveling system. This change came in 2020 when they altered your max level from 100 to 999. This created more progression in earlier levels and made it so that your platinum trophies had a greater effect on your level. I hope that Sony continues to support and improve the trophy system throughout the rest of the PS5's lifecycle and into many generations to come. And if it for some reason is replaced by a new system, I hope that they come up with some archiving tools so that people can continue to cherish their achievements from the past. So you might be wondering, why is it that I have any interest in trophy hunting, and why anyone might? And honestly, at first, I didn't have much interest. I think I was actually introduced to it back when I played Uncharted 1, and it was just kind of something that I think I naturally did. I didn't really seek out. I just noticed the trophy notifications pop up every once in a while, the little chime, and thought it was kind of cool. But I was already, for the most part, just playing the games thoroughly, completing a lot of the stuff, and just not realizing there were additional, smaller things that I could achieve. I was probably sitting around 70 to 80% completion on most trophy lists, just by naturally playing the game. But then it came to a point where I started noticing I was just kind of burning through games. I wasn't really dedicating very much time to them. I was just trying to rush everything, and it was less about the enjoyment of the experience and just getting a game out of the way. And I didn't really like that experience. So I started to actually really lock in on trophy hunting as sort of a guide to really playing the game as much as I could to get the full experience of the game. Obviously, not all trophy lists are a comprehensive 100% completion of a game, and some of them nowhere near full completion of a game. But it was a good guide for me to kind of get to a point where if I enjoyed a game, I knew I had gotten what I was going to get out of this game by the time I had gotten the platinum. So I kind of decided back in 2020 that I wanted to kind of see if I could go through chronologically the games that I had and platinum them. So even though there were new games coming out that I was trying to play when I had time, I was really locked in on just enjoying the game that I was playing. Playing, getting the trophies, avoiding anything that would ruin the experience, because there are some trophies that are very grindy. They require a lot of repetitive actions and a lot of time. I avoid those trophies because they ruin the fun of it. If a game requires too much of that, I completely cut it from my list of games that I want to platinum. I've made some pretty good progress, and I've definitely cut quite a few games out of my list as I've moved through the PlayStation 3 into the PlayStation 4. I'm really realizing I'm thinking a lot more about what I enjoy about a game. It doesn't have to be brand new and shiny. It just has to be well made, and giving it the time it deserves to really see all it has to offer has been a fun experience for me. I feel like there's a lot of negative sentiment towards trophy hunting, and I don't really know where it comes from some people, but it's just this idea that it's just work, that you can't enjoy the metagame of a game. You can't enjoy the process of pushing yourself to do hard things. And I think it's a lot of times because people lock in on those grinding trophies, and people who take the time to do those seem a bit obsessive and sometimes are a little scary that someone has actually earned them. But a lot of times, that's not the purpose of trophies. A good trophy list doesn't have a ton of grindy trophies. I will say there is a subsection of people who do trophy hunting that I consider more of trophy farmers, as they either use exploits to earn trophies really quickly. They purchase games that are extremely cheap, that are purely for farming trophies, or they use a lot of cross-region stacking just to boost their numbers. Really, when it becomes about the numbers more than the achievement, then it loses its value to me. And I can see how people might think negatively about trophy hunting when they see people do those kinds of things. I've actually taken the time to, after completing a game, I'll write my thoughts down about the quality of a trophy list, whether it was boring, unmotivating, long when it didn't need to be, versus challenging or engaging. Different things like that. I'll kind of pick out some of my favorite trophies I've earned and some of the hardest ones to earn. And it gives me just more time to think about the experiences I've had. And it's been really fun. I've even actually had some pretty unique and awesome experiences while trophy hunting. In particular, working with the community to achieve certain trophies. Going back chronologically to my PS3 games, was playing through the Assassin's Creed series, which I'm a pretty big fan of. And a lot of the titles have a multiplayer mode in them, and specifically Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And the servers are still up. I'm not sure if they still are now, but they were at the time that I was working towards those trophies. And because the servers were not active, but were still up, I ended up using PSN profiles and Discord channels to find people that I could work with to achieve the platinum in these games. And we would do some ridiculous stuff where we would spend hours working together to just boost the ability to get the max level in the multiplayer mode. And just coming up with a method and organizing a team, having people come in and out from across the world was just a really interesting collaboration. Seeing people unified together, working for this goal and doing things to make it possible with people they'll maybe never interact with again. I don't know if I've talked to anybody who's helped me with those trophies since then, but it was just a really positive and fun experience to get to know people for just a few hours before they move on and continue living life. I also got to learn some new lingo that is uncommon to me living here in America, and that was posh. One of the characters in Assassin's Creed, to identify them, they call them the posh guy. He was a wealthy merchant type character who I probably would have called fancy looking, and I just didn't realize how common that is. To say somebody's posh is a lot more common than I thought, not knowing a whole lot about British culture. So that was just another little fun experience. I think that's one of the beauties of the trophy system, is it almost has created its own community that, looking at it from the outside, seems strange, but when you're part of it, it can be really fun. So if you've never heard of PlayStation trophies before watching this video, or you've heard about them but never really understood what it is about them that makes it interesting to someone, I hope that if you have any interest in kind of slowing down your pace with games and just really taking the time to enjoy them, this might be one way that you can kind of create a goal for yourself to really fully experience a game. It's not a hobby for everyone, and I will say there are certain things about it that can be really unappealing, but I would say give it a try, see if you enjoy it, and make sure that you don't ever make it purely about the trophies, trophy leveling, having the highest score possible, but really make it about how can this make me enjoy a game even more. That covers a somewhat niche hobby that I find really interesting and enjoyable, and hope that you guys can try it out and see what you think as well. I'm down to make more content that's trophy focused if people have an interest in that. Let me know in the comments below if that's something that might interest you, and let me know how you feel about trophy hunting. I hope I was able to share a new perspective about this topic. And as always, keep on gaming and keep on creating. See you on the next one.